Hello, Mr. Ruth here. Today I'm going to talk about how in our kind of real world transformations project we would do a translation. So I've got down here two congruent objects, right? I've got two little plastic forks and I want to know how do I translate from one to the other? Okay, so the first question I have is which way am I going? Am I going from this fork to that fork or that fork to this fork? Because those are two opposite directions, and so that's meaningful. So I have to identify my starting point and ending point. We all know the terms that by now. We know the term pre-image, that's our starting point, and we know the term image, which is our ending point. So I wrote that on scraps of paper so it'll be clear which direction I'm going. You should do the same when you do the project. All right, the next problem is this. If I decide from this fork in the upper right to the fork in the lower left, that's fine. But why am I thinking of it this way? What if I should be thinking of it this way? So now I'm going from lower right to upper left. So I'm going up and to the left. But what about this? Now I'm going up and to the right. If I look at it this way, I'm going up and to the left. So we have to determine our orientation. Okay, so how do I figure out which orientation I'm going in? In other words, am I going up or down, left or right? Well, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to draw an X and Y axis. All right, and I'm going to put that on the ground, and that's going to show me which way's up and which way's down, which way's left and which way's right. So you're going to sketch an X and Y axis. I did it with a blue marker, and you're going to put it on the ground next to your translation. So I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so now it's time to figure out how far I'm translating from my pre-image to my image. Now, at first glance, you might think, oh, well, I'll figure that out. I'll just measure directly, and I'm translating 20 inches, which is true. But the problem is when we try to write translation rules, we have to write them not just in the total distance, but the distance in the X and Y directions. So I need to figure out how much I'm going only in the X direction and how much I'm going only in the Y direction, okay? So, if you have two rulers, you can do it that way. If you only have one, or if you have a shorter ruler, I think the best way to figure this out is to use your third congruent object. So we're going along in the X direction, and it goes to approximately here. So I'll place the other fork there, and I measure from the bottom of the fork. That's my object. You will have something different, to the bottom of the fork here. And if I'm a little nervous about whether it's rotated at all, I can take the protractor and measure the angle, and I get about 54 degrees, and measure it over here. Oh, I have to slide it just a little bit, 54 degrees. But now I see that I'm going 18.5 inches in the negative direction. How much am I going down? Well, I take my ruler, I measure from the base of the ruler to the base of the ruler, and I'm going 7 inches. Now again, if I want to check whether I've rotated, I can do that with the protractor like so. So I've figured out what I'm doing. In this particular example, a lot of ways to display the information, right? I could write it as a rule. X, Y goes to, let's see, I'm going left, so that's X minus 18.5, Y minus 7. Or I could write it in words, right? Just using up, down, left, right. Hope that's helpful. That's how we translate in the real world.